Hello guys, my name is Dark Moon Doll, better known as Trina. I'm continuing the tutorial that I've been working on how I draw portraits, and the specific portrait that I'm drawing is a portrait of a really lovely lady, really sweet woman, very talented woman by the name of Lady Fire of Poetry. She's was nice enough to become my patron on my Patreon. And so for this month, I decided to do a portrait of her using colored pencils. So this is the first. This is part 3. Is it? Is it part 3? And this is how far I've come so far. And usually I come farther than this if I'm working on it more than just a segment in a video. But that's how I've been doing it. So that you can actually see the progress as I do it, and not, not know how did she do this. Because someone was interested in knowing more about my portrait work and what I have done in the past. Let me see, I have something missing, and that is the pencil sharpener. Let me grab that. Okay. So basically, as you can see, I was working on the hair. Just kind of getting the basics in there, the shape, the dreads and stuff like that. Sorry, excuse my language. And yeah, I was trying to get the basic overall amount of hair that I wanted on this picture. A lot of times when I do portraits, I elaborate a little bit more than what's on the photograph as far as the hair and things like that. And because I'm in nature, I might be inspired to add some nature within this too. So first I gotta sharpen this pencil. I'm still using this terracotta colored pencil. These are old pencils I have out here. I use my pencils down to the stub usually. So that's like a terracotta color. That's for the skin tone. I'm gonna make a little bit more of a shadow on top of her eyes. I gotta define the eyelid actually, is what I have to do first. So when I mean I gotta define the eyelid, let me show you what I mean. Let's see. As a comparison. Okay. You see this eye, comparison to this eye. I added the eyelid, the line on there to give more definition. And it's gonna make it look more like she's looking upward instead of just looking straight out. See what I mean? She's looking upward on here. So when I'm doing portraits of people, it's not so much important that I get everything exactly right, but that I capture the spirit of the photo that I'm working from, so that within my drawing, I'll have that same energy, hopefully, captured. So, yeah. So yeah, you can tell already it's different. It's getting more developed just by doing that to the eyelids. I'm still trying to figure out whether or not I want to keep with this color scheme that's going on in the actual photograph. With this, the photograph's kind of old schooly, like westerny. I don't know if you'd call that terracotta, but yeah. So let's see. I made the chin a little bit smaller here because the chin was looking really kind of lumpy a little bit the way I was doing it. So I defined the chin a little bit more. Now I'm going to come in and do more with the eyes. With the nose, So doing shading underneath the nose. So I'm shading underneath the nose so far. Yeah, it takes a while to draw a face, for me at least, when I'm trying to get everything as accurate as I can. I try to get it as much matching to what the person looks like, if I can. So that represents them, who they are, their personality, the little things that make them them, that they have within their face, the characteristics of their face that makes them unique. Sometimes, I remember one time doing a portrait. Let's see how it looks so far. One time doing a portrait of someone, of that person and their cousin and their sister. And I didn't really think it looked like all of them, but they loved it, so you never know how people are going to react to what you create and how much of a likeness they think it is of you when you create a portrait. So I think as long as when people do portraits, as long as you're creating the essence of that person, of what you see that person's like, you know, the beauty within that you see, you know, that shines through. So here we go. Here's what it's looking like now. Looking pretty good. Getting there. I think the more that I add color to it, the more it'll start getting more of a likeness. The shadowing I need to add more attention to around the eyes, because it's like darker around the eyes. Like there's definitely a shadow underneath the eyes. Let's see. It's a beautiful face to work from. Definitely. It's an honor. So I'm gonna come underneath the chin more with some of this terracotta still working with the terracotta color. I try to, like I said before, I try to start off with really light pressure and light colors to start off with, because when you start off with light colors, if you make a mistake, it's easy to cover up, but if you don't, then it's harder to do so. So yeah, it becomes common sense when you start doing these kind of things more. So when you start practicing drawing more. So I'm gonna come in with the lips with a little bit of black, just to emphasize the shape of the lips, more so underneath, just a little bit. Trying to make the lips, I'm noticing that I'm making the top lip maybe a little too big, so see what I can do with that as best I can. Try not to add too much black there. Oh, I may have added too much black. It's okay. I can come back in and use an eraser on it. Excuse me. So let's see. A little black underneath the nose. It's all a process that's always been kind of a mystery to me of how I was going to capture it on film. So let's like do a slight line to define the lip on the bottom. So here we go on the bottom. Not quite looking exactly like her, but it's getting there. So, so yeah. What do I want to do now? I think I want to add a slight bit of black for the eyelid, so the eyelid pops out a little more. She's looking really dreamy in the version I'm doing of her. This one, she's a little more wide-eyed from the photograph, but the one I'm doing, she's looking a little more dreamier. It's okay, I guess. I guess it's not too bad to do that. So, the last portrait that I did was of my friend named Wendy, and she loved it. She's a very, very sweet woman who cares about a lot of people in her life and just gives and gives. So it was a joy and a pleasure to do her portrait for her. She commissioned me to do it, and I enjoyed it. It was a painting that I did, and I hadn't experimented with portrait painting for a while, so that's fine. So this is what I got going on so far here. That's how she looks so far. With the drawings, it takes me a while to do because I'm trying to get things as accurate as possible. If it doesn't come out exactly identical, it's okay to me, but just getting it as close as I can and just moving at a slower pace, just kind of just taking my time with it, because there's a lot going on in this drawing that meets the eye. Speaking of eyes, So with her eyes, I'm going to outline the eyes, the circles of the eyes. So yeah, as I was saying, I'm going to outline the circles of the eyes. So the eyes they pop out a little bit more. And then I'm probably going to darken them up because they're definitely not terracotta colored. They're dark brown like mine, it looks like. At least from this photo, so that's a little thing that I like to do, is just outline the eyes around it so it pops out more. And these are things that I learned through just practicing drawing. And also, I've talked about this, I've taken classes like in high school, and when I was 16 and 17, I took some art classes. Within those art classes, I was able to learn like the basics. So let me show you what I did with the eyes. I made the eyes stand out more. So I'm going to try to put some dark, I don't know if I have the dark brown. I could mix black and brown together, black and terracotta pencil together, and that would give it a brown. So more of a dark brown color. You can always, if you're experimenting with colors, trying to see which colors will look good on the drawing, before putting it on the drawing so you don't ruin it, you can just do this. I'll show you. I'm going to just make a mark of black and then mix some of this terracotta in it and see what happens. So that's the color that it turns out when you put terracotta and black together. It gives it a darker brown. And then you can start off with the terracotta first and then put the black on top. That way it won't be as dark. So it won't be black. So I gotta sharpen my terracotta pencil again. This one's always, seems to always need sharpening sooner than the others. And I could use a whole new set of colored pencils. So yeah, I'll just do like this. And then put a little bit of black on top just to test out and see if that's the color that I want for the eyes. So yeah, it's about that color that I want for the eyes. So that's a way to do things, to test it out before you actually put it down on the paper. So here we go. Just gonna color that in. And it's really relaxing to like draw outside or paint outside, or just do art outside just in general. It's a different energy going on for sure. So I came in with the terracotta on that one eye. Now I'm gonna put some black on it, but just to lightly, just to darken up a little bit. So where's the black? Oh, it's in my hand. So go. And I did actually leave a little space, like it's like a circular space for the on the eye, where you see the highlights on the eye. So you'll be able to see that, how I did that. It's kind of like outlining the eye a little bit more so it pops out. Because her eyes are really expressive. That's like the most expressive thing that I see when I look at her face is her eyes. Okay, so now look how I did this eye. So now I'm going to do the same thing to the other eye. I'm going to fill it in with the terracotta and leave that little space for the highlight there, where the light source is coming down, down on her. I used to have the hardest time figuring out how to keep photographs on a drawing board. No. I used to have the hardest time figuring out where the light source is. You just kind of have to really look at the picture and just study it. That's how I learned how to figure that out. It's not easy, but with time, it becomes a bit more easier. If you're doing this all the time, if you're painting or drawing all the time, I don't think you're going to get worse. You're going to get better if you're in a relaxed state of mind while you're creating. So, okay, now I'm going to... So what I just did just now, I work really fast. So what I just did now is I put a little bit of black right in here. Just a little bit. So I'm going to come over that black line where the eye is, eyelid there, and put terracotta on there so it's not too black. I don't think I want to make it look like she has black eyeliner necessarily, you know. So, but just make it a little bit darker. And I can see her eyelashes too. Oh my gosh, I gotta put eyelashes on her. Let's do that. We'll do that part of the eyelid first, and then we'll do the eyelashes. Okay. Okay, so I did that part of the eye, see that? Now it's time for the eyelashes. So, her eyelashes are like mine, they're curly. Okay. So eyelashes there. And it's a little bit darker underneath her, it's because the shadow how it's coming down. So underneath her eye, it's darker, a little bit darker, but not too much darker. So you want to be really careful when you put the black underneath the eyes so it doesn't look like just dark circles under your eyes, but it looks more natural. And I'm going to keep putting in more color, you know, filling it in more color. But yeah, that's how it looks right here. The eyes. Her eyes are what get me. They're just so beautiful and expressive. So I feel like I'm capturing it as best I can really well, I think. So just come in on these lips more. So that's what the thing is I'll get the outline of the face when I do a portrait. And then once I do that, I just kind of bounce around from different, on different features of the face when I draw it. So now I'm working on the lips more. You can see the lips here. Working on the lips more. A lot of times I feel like if the drawing that I do, a portrait, when I'm doing a portrait of someone, it doesn't look exactly like them, it's getting the essence and the personality of that person as best as I can. So that's what's the most important to me. And I think that's the most important to people that end up getting a portrait that I've drawn of them. Is that as long as it looks, you know, close enough to what they look like and the feeling and the vibe that the drawing will portray, you know. So, okay, let's see what we got there. Make that a little bit darker underneath the neck here. So, okay, and this is how it is so far. It kind of looks like she's looking to the side. It's probably because the hair is over one eye, but that's okay. I'm going to add some elements probably of Mother Earth within this, so that's going to be interesting. Now I'm just kind of having fun with the hair. When the dreads are like, when the dreads of a portrait are like tightly coiled hair, what I do is I just do squiggly lines like that. Because that's what I feel like happens with coarser textured hair when it dreads up. It just like all these squiggly hairs are all joining together. I think it's kind of cool that way. I think all dreads are cool no matter what texture they are. If they're, you know, they're straight, curly, whatever, wavy, whatever. It's all beautiful. So, coming along well, actually. I feel like her face should be a little bit longer though, but it's okay. Just be darker right there down in here. So, I'm going to work on the dreads more here. I used to be really intimidated by drawing hair, you know, because it's like, how in the world can you get that feeling that someone has hair on their head in a drawing? You just have to take your time with it. I mean, this is just the beginning of what I'm doing with the hair on her dreads. And her face, too. It's just the beginning because I just got the basic, you know, basic look of it. So that's what it looks like so far here. Still working on the hair here. And I may even work on this without filming it, just on the side. I can't decide. But usually this time of the day is the best time for me to draw, when it's reasonably quiet and there's not too much going on. So. So I was gonna say is I hope you guys are enjoying this this series so far of me drawing portraits. Yeah, it takes me a while to draw someone's face sometimes because I want to get it as accurate as I can, and I want to really be able to show them how much I appreciate actually being able to draw their face. It's an honor to do a portrait of someone's face, you know, because not a lot of people like their face. Not a lot of people think their face is interesting. And a lot of people, as they get older, they really don't like their face because if they end up having a lot of wrinkles and lines in their face, they're really self-conscious about that. I don't think that's something that people should be self-conscious about. I think you should embrace your face and the way it looks. And look at all the things you love about your face, you know? Because your face changes over time. Over time, your face changes. And I think that it depends on your circumstances, your stress level, those expressions that you hold when you're very worried and stressed out, you know, that kind of furrowed brow. And so some expressions are hard to control. So this is how she's looking so far, Lady Fire poetry. I know if you like her so far. I hope you do. I think it's coming along really well. This pencil, I'm going to have to get another terracotta colored pencil. But I'm going to mix in some other colors into her skin tone, like some yellows. Possibly some reds too as well. Because I've seen a photograph of her without the... it's not in sepia tone here, because this is like sepia tone. So let's get this kind of darker there. And trying to get this just right, because this light, the light source is coming down there. Let's get that there. Over here. Oh, I forgot to do her eyelashes on the other side. I think I dropped that pencil. Hold on. Let's see. Did I drop? I'm dropping all kinds of pencils out here in nature. Okay, here it is. Found it. So you see how I did the side? It's the... If I'm looking at it, it's my right. It's the right eye. If you're looking at it, it's probably the left eye. You see the eyelashes. Now I'm going to put the eyelashes on the other eye. So. Sometimes I can be random like that when I'm drawing. It's like I'm not like always being symmetrical in my approach. Like, okay, I did this side, so I did this side. Sometimes I bounce around when I'm creating, so just because. So just get a little bit of a, I like putting a little bit of the smirk or smile there, intimation of a smile. Yeah. Shade it in a bit. Looking good so far. Looking good so far. So far, so good. So I'm gonna come in the dreads with a little bit of black. Just some diversity so you can see the separation between dreads. That way it doesn't look like just a big mass and clump of hair on her head. So you can see the differentiation in size. Well, most of her dreads look like they're pretty much the same size and same length. So, but I want to not make it look like it's just a mass of hair on top of her head. So that's where I'm going with that. So let me show you what it looks like so far by doing that. That's what happens. I used to have a challenging time with making dreadlocks, but it depends on who's wearing them and what curl pattern is going on. It makes it easier. If it's straight hair, I'm not using any curly patterns in it. I'm just I'm just shading inside the cylindrical form of a dreadlock, so pretty easy. After a while of doing it, you start to learn tricks of your own. A lot of the stuff that I learned with drawing, especially portraits, is outside of art class. It's the time that you spend, practicing on your own. You can learn the basics, but when it comes down to it is taking the time outside of formal training and just practicing. You practice, you get better. So there we go. That's how it's turning out so far. So far, so good. This is actually really relaxing too, doing this outside. When you create outside, you're influenced by so many things. The elements, the air, if it's raining, water. I wouldn't want to be out here drawing if it's raining. Not unless there was some sort of protective awning or something for me to sit underneath. Yeah. So I'm going to show you how this is coming out. I'm just adding the black to it. And what I'm going to do is probably come over it with some more like reds and browns. That way you can see different tonalities in there. If there's different tonalities and different colors, then you can see that there's actually like separate dreadlocks on the head. So, yeah. And then as time goes on to drawing it, I'll also try to look and make sure I'm getting the light and shadows as accurate as I can possibly get it, as best I can. Like I said, I haven't done portraits like this in a little while. I think it was like a year or two ago that I did that portrait for my friend Wendy that I talked to you guys about. That turned out really nice. It was a commission piece, and she really liked it, so I really liked it after I finished it. So, yeah. It brings a smile to my face and joy to my heart when I give somebody a piece of art I created and they really like it, and it makes them feel good to look at it. So that's how it's looking so far. I think so far so good. As I said, I'm going to add more color to the face. When you add more color to the face, it'll give it more definition. It'll look more like skin, when you add more color to it. So that's what that does. I think she's going to love this once it's complete. And somebody asked if I will make sure that I post the completed project, the completed drawing. Oh, of course I will. Of course I will. So, yeah. I'll come in with some more of was the terracotta. Terracotta is almost out of business. So, some terracotta on top. It's fun to layer the colors. So you can layer colors. This is another approach that I learned on my own just by playing around with colored pencils. Colored pencils, I think, are more diverse than most people would imagine. But not as diverse as like painting. With the colored pencil, you put down a black mark. Use a black pencil first down, really dark. It's hard to get that out. So, like I said, start off light and then work dark. Work in dark if you're just starting out. Some people are used to working with dark colors first. So, I don't know. I don't know who those people are. But the point is that everybody has their own their own style of creating a portrait. So, let me see. What do I want to do next too? I want to just keep working on the hair because I'm liking how the hair is looking. Let's see, I'll show you how it looks so far. I've always loved drawing. Ever since I was a kid, I loved drawing, and my favorite media was always pencil on paper. Then as I got older, I started experimenting. As I got older, I started experimenting with different mediums, like oil pastels. We'll see how it looks now. It's coming along. Coming along. Not exactly the same. I may have made her eyes exaggeratedly too big, if you look at it, actually. But it's still the beginning, guys. Still the beginning. And I'm getting back into this, so. But when I really study I really study them, so. And I can see the obvious things that I need to do to get it as accurate as I can, best I can. I'm not going to be harsh on myself. Oh God, I can't get it this right. No, you just get it as best you can, that's all. So, that's what I'm doing. She just has this vibe as I'm drawing her face and her hair, dreads. She has this vibe of like Mother Earth coming off of her big time. It's just like, I love it. Drawing portraits of people inspires me. The people that I draw are inspiring. The people are very talented artists a lot of the times that I draw. Or they're just very compassionate people who care about Mother Earth and care about animals. So yeah, speaking of talented artists, yeah, the person that made this hat that I wear all the time, she's very talented, and I did a portrait of her quite a while ago. Her name is M. Cody Shelton, and yeah, another talented artist, another kind soul out there trying to help make this a better world, trying to help raise the vibration by the creations that they create. So yeah, I think I may be finished with this for today. I don't want to overwork it, but I think it's looking good so far. You guys seem to be enjoying the series that I'm doing, and it's really relaxing. If you want to find something relaxing to do, drawing faces, oh my God, very relaxing. Drawing just in general is very relaxing for me. So, let's see. Okay, this is what it looks like so far. I've got more that I want to do to her, for her, for this drawing. Like I said, I want to add color to it, more color in the face, the skin tone, and do more refining of the features, and possibly look at what she looks like on other photos too, other than this terracotta version of this photograph that I got. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So stay tuned for like the next part, which will be tomorrow, and I'll show you the update on. We'll work together. I will work on this while you watch. And you'll see the evolution of how, my process of how I go about making a portrait. So it's not like how everybody does their portraits, but this is how I do mine. And my portraits may not look photorealistic, like exactly like the photograph, but I feel like it captures the essence of the person that I'm drawing. Alrighty guys, until then, I will see you tomorrow. Peace.